Hey, what's up, house groups? We are kicking off a brand new series tonight called Paper Tigers. What we're going to do over the next month and a half is spend some time looking at the things that Americans have self-identified as their greatest sources of fear and anxiety. The future, the past, finances, family, and work. And I'm really excited about it because I think fear is a real thing in our lives, but it's kind of awkward because it's not tangible. We can't reach out and grab fear. We can't point to fear wherever it may be, but we can feel it. Whether it's based on truth or logic or not, it's just completely crazy. It is an emotion that lives inside of us. It's a future-based emotion where we allow ourselves to become upset right now about something that might happen in the future. It's just this incredibly powerful prison, I believe, for our lives and our futures. Fear robs us of the lives that we were meant to live, and it's contagious. When we're afraid that people around us become afraid, fear spreads. I read this story this week about this group of monkeys, and a guy put 4 of them in a cage, and he put some bananas at the top of this tree, and every time a monkey would try to get up to the bananas, he'd spray them with a hose. And so eventually these 4 monkeys quit trying to get the bananas, and he took one out and put a new monkey in that hadn't learned the rules yet. And when that monkey went to try and go get the bananas, all the other monkeys held him back. They just held him down, like, no, don't do that. And slowly, one by one, this researcher replaced the monkeys until there were none of the original 4 monkeys left in the cage. None of the monkeys that were there had ever been sprayed by the water, but every time he put a new monkey in and it tried to climb up for the bananas, all the others would hold him down and hold that monkey back from going to get the bananas because they've been conditioned to feel fear. In our lives, it works like that. So often something or someone has conditioned us to be afraid of what might lie ahead. What if this? What if that? What if? And we have this belief that our what ifs might be true, that the worst bits of our imagination might be bigger than God's love. And so many of us live with this crippling fear about what might be coming down the line, about what the future might hold. But God says He has something more for us than living that way. Than living trapped by our trepidation, than living hesitantly because of our anxiety. God wants to unleash us to the purposes in this world that He created us for. But it's hard. It's hard. I know for me, I shared this on Sunday, I'll share it again. Fear is like an ever-present companion. Just this sense that the future might not go the way I want it to, and I don't know what it holds, and I don't know what's going to come, and it's so much easier to stop, to not charge forward into the unknown darkness of the future, just hoping God is there, but just to stop and say, it's safe, this is safe. But I'm convinced that so often we spend a whole lot of time trying to avoid death, and avoiding death and chasing life are not the same thing. And God is inviting us to step out of the prison of fear and chase life, which is something we can do if we really believe deep down at the core of who we are that God's love is bigger than our what ifs, that God's love is bigger than our imaginations, and that He really unconditionally, no matter what we do, no matter where we've been, no matter what we've done, unconditionally loves us. So He's present with us. Instead of worrying about the dark as danger, we just see it as a place we haven't explored yet, but a place God already exists, and I want to unleash us to that. I want to set you free from the things that are holding you back from the life that you were made for, and send you out into a world that's desperate for you to live that way when your fears are conquered, when you can move beyond them. And I think for a lot of us that sounds really good. That sounds like, oh man, yes, I want to do that. That sounds amazing and inspiring, but how? I have no idea where to even start. And you're not alone. I was talking to a youth group kid a few years ago who sat down with me across the table and said, you know what I want to do, Mike? I want to change the world. And I said, that's amazing. You and every other beauty queen. Where do you want to start? And the kid just looked at me and said, why? I have no idea. There's a lot of things that are wrong. So, well, as long as that's your answer, you're never going to change the world. Start where you are. Like world changers, people that make an impact start with like the square inches around their feet. You start by doing what you know, because anything God wants to do in the world through you, he has to first do in the soul inside of you. On Sunday we talked about these 3 steps that we get from the life of Joshua for how to overcome fear of the future and march forward towards what God is inviting us into. You got to participate in the promise. That it doesn't just happen statically, but you got to go, trusting that wherever you end up, God is already there. You got to commit to his commands. We got to chase holiness. Get off our own agendas and on to God's agenda, and we got to live like we're loved, just believing that he's with us. And step 1 to doing that. Step 1 to deciding that the future is not a big scary tiger lurking to attack and kill us, but it is a paper tiger that God is in control of. It's just doing what we know. It's doing the things and being faithful in the things he's already taught us. That's what it looked like for Joshua. On Sunday, we talked about Joshua 1, where Moses dies and Joshua gets this charge, like, okay, take these people and lead them across the river. It's time to go warring. And all Joshua knew was wandering. He had no idea what he was doing or how in the world he was going to lead them. And be sure the people are looking at this new leader like, well, what if? What if there's giants on the other side of the river? Joshua's like, I don't know. What if the manna stops and we have to find our own food? I don't know. What if the river is really hard to cross? What if we aren't very good at war? What if? And finally, Joshua has this moment in the midst of all the what ifs. You know, what if? What might happen? Where he's like, no. I believe that my God is bigger than my what ifs, and his love goes with me. And so he looks at all the people. He's like, hey, do you guys know how to pack up your stuff? And they're like, yeah, we do it all the time. Sweet. And do you know how to do the whole like marching in line thing? Yeah, we do it all the time. And do you know where the Jordan River is? Yeah, it's over there. All right, then we got the first 3 steps. We don't know what lies beyond, but our God is bigger than our what ifs. And the first 3 steps are pack your stuff, get in line, go to the river. We're crossing over today. And they did, and God moved. And he wants to move in your life and mine too. He wants to teach us that the future is a place he exists and a thing he controls, and that none of the bad stuff we can imagine gets to write the last chapter of our story, so we can conquer our fear of what might be and move forward into his promises and create in this dark space the light and the love that he built us to create, and point a dark world toward him. The future's a paper tiger. Don't fear it anymore.